We're following a developing story in Gallatin County involving property taxes and a backlog of tax appeals at the state level and how that could impact taxpayers. I'm joined by reporter Eric Dietrich with the Montana Free Press, who wrote an in-depth article on this and is here to talk about the implications. Eric, first explain what led up to the backlog.
Yeah, so a couple of things to know. First is in Montana, the state revenue department is responsible for tracking the values that are used for the property values that are used for tax purposes. But property taxes mostly go to cities, counties, and school districts. So there's an intergovernmental communication thing that has to happen there. And the way that works is, in part, is that each August, the revenue department has to tell local governments how big their tax base is, basically how many properties they have they can tax against and how much those properties are worth. That's a number that, if you're the city of Bozeman, for example, that's a number that you need as you're trying to work out your budget. And what happened this year is that the numbers that came in the Bozeman area caused a little bit of consternation because they indicated, according to DOR, that the size of Bozeman's tax base actually declined last year versus this year. And of course, that's one of the fastest growing parts of the state. So if you're the city commission down there, kind of like, what's going on? And in the process of sorting this out, what became clear, it appears, is that the revenue department had gotten backlogged trying to process tax appeals from last year, when, of course, taxes spiked most over the state. According to a letter they sent the Bozeman City Commission, they took them 10 months to process all the appeals, which meant they had two months for the rest of their work, including tracking new development. And it sounds like they weren't able to get through all of that in at least the Bozeman area.
In your article, then, you write that this could let some new Bozeman construction business skip next year's property taxes. So explain.
Yeah, so essentially the valuation process from the department is as I understand it, one of the things that needs to happen in order for those properties to get added to the tax roll so they can be taxed. So if that doesn't happen until after the cutoff date for this year, those properties won't have to pay the post-development tax over this next 2024 year. And so they'll get essentially a kind of a de facto tax break inadvertently. We don't know how many properties, and it sounds like the department is kind of scrambling to try to get caught up and reissue the valuations for Bozeman. So maybe they'll be able to do that.
Okay. And some of this could roll over to taxpayers, right?
Yeah, because the way the tax system works, is you take the cost of running government, you divide it between all the people in your city or all the properties in your tax base. And so if somebody else isn't paying, that means the other taxpayers are paying more.
Okay. Well, now, is this exclusive to Bozeman, or could this impact other counties and other communities?
That is the multi-million-dollar question right now, actually. So it's unclear. I asked the department the question, and they declined to answer. And it sounds like people are kind of looking into it right now, trying to figure out what's going on. So unfortunately, we just don't know whether this is just a Bozeman thing or something that could be an issue for other places as well.
All right. So what happens next year, next in this process, and how does it play into all of this?
Sure. Yeah. So the next step here is that it sounds like the local officials and state officials were able to meet and kind of come to a plan that they hope will lead to them getting this addressed. So it sounds like the state department that's responsible for the valuations is pulling staff from other places into this Bozeman office to try to kind of get this handled over the next month. That's delaying the adoption of local budgets in the Bozeman area and could also likely delay tax bills going out. They normally go out in early November and may go out later that month now this year instead.
All right. Well, so right now, with all of your coverage on this, what are you keeping an eye on right now?
I think there are kind of two things to follow. One is do we see information about this becoming an issue in other parts of the state in the coming weeks? And two, are folks able to clean this up in Bozeman and get this addressed? Or is this something that kind of continues to trickle on in a longer term sense?
All right. Anything else that you would like to add?
No, I'm really grateful to be here and to share this reporting and I hope I've been able to communicate it effectively. So.
Perfect. Well, we'll continue to follow your coverage on this. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Thank you.